human. At its core, ice fishing is the battle of human versus nature. A swarm of theories turns into decisions, feeding immediate joy.
We got it, buddy. Oh, it's a real one. It's a freaking real one, baby.
Or even worse, everlasting anguish. When it comes down to it, and you look back to the beginning, we are all chasing a dream. So we chronicle the journey.
Wait, where the f*** are we going?
We begin deep in the Northwoods, in the heart of cabin country, USA, in an area of lakes frozen in time, lost from the development of civilization. Hidden beneath a blanket of towering pines and nestled between hundreds of miles of logging roads is an area of Minnesota littered with trophy crappie potential. We call this place the Golden Triangle, named for its location near the massive watersheds of Cass, Winnie, and Leech Lakes, and also for the unmistakable color of the fish that swim here. But lastly, and most importantly, for its reputation of producing the craziest sunset bites you will ever see.
Pig. Oh yeah, baby! Look at that pig! Boom! Let's go! That's a mule!
And that was probably the most crazy 30-minute span we've ever documented.
Dude, that was wicked crazy.
All right. Hello, everybody. Please let us know if our mics and everything are working correctly. Pink will be here in a sec. Him and I were just recording Past the BARB, if you know about that podcast. So we literally just finished that and are hopping in here now. But yeah, so excited to get rolling on this live stream. So for everybody here, kind of first order of business, if you have any questions or literally like anything you want to talk about, we're here for you guys. Like ice fishing questions, you want to talk about the first trip, anything behind the scenes, like literally anything, just bring it up. We'll answer any questions. We're kind of trying to do these in between each one of our trips this year to better be able to answer questions so they don't all of a sudden stack up throughout the year. But along with that, Thorne Bros is going to be having an online sale. So if you use code CC2023, you can get an additional 10%. 10%. Wow. Ooh, my mouth didn't work there very well. Yeah, had a little bit of a stroke, I think. But yeah, so you can get 10% off almost everything online. I believe that's along with whatever sales they might have going on right now. Don't quote me on that, but you for sure get the 10% off just about everything. There's a couple things there that you wouldn't, but you can get that on whether you want a new Vexilar, one of our rods, maybe a new live unit, whatever it might be. You can use the code for it online for the next 24 hours, and it will be ready to go. And I knew this question was going to pop up immediately, so we'll just address it right away. Is Break Your PB back on tap yet? Yes, it is. Giesenbroid does have Break Your PB on tap. That is our new kind of signature style Crappie Chronicles beer. It is a peanut butter blonde ale. And Griff, you said Laura swung by and she grabbed some, right? You can get 3 crowlers.
Yes. Yeah, they're limiting it to 3 based on the demand. So
Yep. So you can go get it. So my recommendation would be go swing down there for an hour or two, have a couple responsibly at the brewery, enjoy some food in town. Fishtail's a great restaurant if you want to go there. And then, you can also grab some Break Your PB, bring it home with you.
And they also have food trucks on certain nights too.
Yeah, if you look at their Facebook page, they do have a lot of food trucks on the weekends, and a lot of them are really good. So that is a very good question. I'm going to roll through. We have a ton of questions flying in. Also, if you're on Facebook or anything, just share this around, comment, like, do all that good stuff. And hopefully we can get a bunch of people hanging out tonight. But how's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah, we all just got back from our second trip, if you didn't know, so we're all pretty tired right now. But we figured we would swing on and do this.
Does it taste like peanut butter? Yes. It's not an overpowering taste, though. It's really good. The smell of it's incredible.
Yeah, and we should say, since it's a blonde, it is not like a lot of peanut butter beers people think of. They think they're dark or like black, a dark beer. This is a light beer. It's a blonde, so it's kind of, think of like a McGolden Light, Busch Light, blonde type beer, but it has some peanut butter flavoring in it as well.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, now I'm going to start rolling through questions. Pink, you want to say, hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? Sorry, little emergency going on. Got her figured. We're good.
That's what we wanted. Okay, and we'll just address this right away, too, because there's going to be a ton of these questions. So, Pink, have fun with this one.
Oh, all right. Yeah, cookbook. So, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Hopefully, should be final. I mean, I'm hoping this week. So, if we get it finalized, it's going to take a little time to actually get it like available to you, but we're hoping within the next 2 weeks that it's like you can buy it. And
yeah, I need to
charge for it.
What are you going to charge?
Yeah.
Oh, his mic cut out. This happens on our live streams all the time. So this will be sick. Here we go, baby. So Pink, and this is also us kind of having Crappie Chronicles meeting live right now. I need to edit some photos from this past trip to give to you for that cookbook.
Yeah, the last pictures are from the trip we were just on.
Okay,
and
then
we'll have all the photography stuff in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So wait, how much did you say it was going to be?
It hasn't been finalized yet.
Ballpark wise, what do you think?
It will be under $30.
Ooh, dang! You hear that, people?
Yeah,
that's actually
a steal.
That's a steal for some of those recipes.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of cool ones in there, and I would say the majority of them are ones that we.
Oh no!
No, he cut out again.
The majority of the ones we've actually filmed too, so you can watch all our episodes. And I mean, they're all there. What's up, Pink? You back?
He's having troubles.
No, he'll be back in a second.
Yeah, I mean, now you gotta have
there you are.
Okay, so the majority of them are new ones that we never filmed. So there's a bunch of ones that we did do in episodes, but most of them are ones that are totally new that are pretty legit. I'm pretty psyched about them. So the pictures turned out awesome. What?
How many are in it?
It's floating around just a little bit depending on the formatting, but it'll be 25 to 30 recipes.
Ooh.
And they're all absolute home runs. So
yeah,
I'm psyched about it. I think other people are too, but it's sick. There's a lot of good ones in there.
Okay, so another question rolling in. Waldo, I don't know if there's a good way to answer this one. You might have a better idea than me. If someone's looking for a live scope or forward facing unit, is there one that's not crazy spendy? Because they all are for the most part, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all quite a
regular Panoptics you can find them for about $1,000 online right now.
Right.
Not live scope, you're still looking at like, at least $2,000, but the regular Panoptics, it's good for just showing you that there's something far away. You just don't really get a good depiction on what it actually is, how many fish are in it, because it's very blobby like. It's like the difference between 2D sonar and down imaging. Down imaging, you get a really crisp picture. 2D sonar, you kind of guessing what it is that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Yep. So
there is a solid used market going though. Like if
Oh,
you
yeah.
poke around on Facebook,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of especially like OG live units, like the Panoptics original one for like under $1,000.
Yeah, you can find them everywhere right now for a fairly good price. So
yep.
everyone,
So look online. If you do want a new one, like we said, Thorne Brothers is having that sale, so you can use the code for 10% off. And for a unit that expensive, you're talking a couple $100. So it will help
there too for Humminbird, Garmin, everything. So it's a one-stop shop.
How often do we use the DNR Lake Survey app? So when we were in Minnesota, so that kind of preludes the rest of this, not all of it, but a fair amount of the rest of the series, we're going to be leaving the state. But when in Minnesota, we use it a ton.
Well, actually, hold on. We don't use the Lake Survey app. We use the Lake Finder website because the app doesn't have all the information that the Lake Finder thing does.
It's got about a quarter of it because
it's just the general information basically.
The app isn't updated very frequently, and the app only shows you standardized surveys. It doesn't show you any targeted assessment surveys at all because the targeted assessment surveys aren't a standard survey. It's usually specific nets put out for certain species or electroshocking surveys. That's usually what it's made for or categorized under. The regular standardized surveys, those pop up everywhere. So they're easy to look at, easy to find on the app, but we don't use that.
Right. But if you're going down the rabbit hole, you're better off going on the Lake Finder web page and searching that way versus the app.
Yeah, because there's like 2021 targeted assessment surveys, and then there's 2021 standard surveys. And if you click on, let's say, Lake X, whatever, on Lake Finder, and it has one of those targeted assessment surveys, it's going to show you the last standardized survey. So actually on a lake that we fish, it has a survey from like 1982, and there's hardly any information on it. But then it has a targeted assessment survey from 2018 that is just ridiculous. It's one of the best surveys I've seen. And when you click on the lake on the app, it doesn't show you any of that. So you got to make sure you go to the website.
Yeah, it has more information.
Yeah.
So.
Fishing crappie after dark, we do. Last year we tried to film a handful of night episodes, and it really didn't work. There wasn't a great night bite last year from what we found. A lot of fishing crappie after dark tends to be weed bites, or you just kind of sit in a permie and wait for them to roll through. But weed bites typically tend to be the best. Lures you're looking for, anything glow. This is also where Waldo and I really like to blade jig them. If you watched episode, 11 or 10 last year, the hour one in the middle of the year, we blade jigged them. You can see what that technique is. It's basically just like a demon style jig, but it's the clam blade jig. You put a full minnow on it, drop it down, and you actually actively fish with a dead stick is the biggest way to explain what that is. And it works really well after dark.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome bait, especially when you're targeting big fish too. It's easier for them to see when it's that big.
Waldo, what blank, and we'll kind of dive through our rod series here too. So if you guys have questions on them or different techniques, we'll dive into them. Once again, please share this everywhere, like and subscribe to the channel. But Waldo, kind of dive into your rod. What blank you got, and what have we been using? Because we used your rod a ton in the first handful of episodes. It's a fantastic pinhead rod.
Yeah, so we made some changes from last year. It's still a Thorne Brothers Power Noodle, which is a fiberglass noodle blank. But last year was 36 inches long. It was still a great rod, but we wanted something a little bit shorter for fishing in ice house, a little bit more well-rounded, versatile rod. Because that one, the 36 inch, was primarily just for fishing outside. It's pretty long and hard to manage inside an ice house. So we shortened it up to 32 inches, which actually also cut down on the backbone a little bit. So it's slightly softer now, and it's not overpowering. So if you do get a really good hook set on a fish, it doesn't pluck the bait as much out of its mouth.
Yeah, it's a great rod. It's really like if you want to learn how to work a pinhead correctly, it is a very good rod for it because of the way the tip bounces and you can work the bait.
That guy that asked that question actually spent 2 days with me up here, and they used your rod pretty much the whole time.
Oh, okay.
That helped.
That's awesome.
Speaking of that, if you guys want guide trips, GRIFF has availability, ton of it in February. So he has a website, got his Facebook page. You guys can hit him up. All the guide rates and everything are there. You can do a Chronicle trip, go chase them like we do, and try to break a PB. You've had a couple of those so far this year, haven't you?
Yep. And then I just had 3 people actually message me today about them. So
nice.
Yeah,
there we go.
Solid.
Get to chase some giants around here. The good news is we haven't been hammering them, so you're gonna have a really good shot to go out and catch them.
Do you want to just quick break down all the rods, just kind of get ahead of that?
Yeah, we can do that.
We're already talking about it.
Yeah, so then we'll dive into my rod. Bart's Chronicle is it's kind of like the most versatile one probably in the lineup that we use. You can, if you just want to get a rod for ice fishing, especially panfish, it's a good one. It is a 28-inch panfish blank with a 3-inch medium tripwire on it. So it's just really versatile, recoil guides on it. And we did have a few questions, people asking about, our rod prices this year. And we want everyone to know, like, our rod series, we make these rods with the exact components we want to use. They are the highest end ice rods you can basically get, because that's what we use to chase giant crappies. So it's not like we're putting high margins on the top end of them or anything. You could literally go to Thorne Brothers and order your same of that one, and that's what the price would be. It's not more because it's a Chronicle rod. It's just we designed them and laid them out for you because this is the way it should be made, and it should be used that way. But my rod is a very good rod for tungstens. If you're looking at like 4 mils, specifically 5 mils, it can be really good. It's just really versatile.
Yeah, and then mine is actually built on this. The base blank is the same as Bart's rod. So his basically you're fishing a 28-inch rod with a spring bobber on it essentially, and mine is a 36-inch rod, although it has an 8-inch cork handle. So it fishes like a little bit shorter rod. I know some people that don't like really long rods. They see a 36-incher and they're like, oh, it's a little longer than I'd really like to fish with. But it fishes like a little bit shorter rod, but it has a super parabolic action, which I like. It's super fun to fight fish on. I would say between mine and Bart's rod, if you just want to have fun fighting fish, they're so fun because the rod loads up so deep, and you can really keep them pinned pretty well. So my rod, I think, really it's designed for bigger baits. Last year we used the blade jig setup on that rod a lot. It'll be really great for that or for iFish Pros. But this year so far I've been using it a lot for a pinhead too, and it's been really great for that. Especially if I've been fishing the 16th on it, but if you go up at all to like that 1/8 ounce one, it is so good for that. The tip's not quite as soft as the Waldo Chronicle, so you don't get that visual, where the rod is actually bending down when it's being loaded by the jig itself, but you can feel the bite. Yeah. You can feel the bite. Insane good. So when it dumps, they got it, and you can crack them. But I like that handle too. Gives you a little more something to grab onto. I've just always been a fan of those cork handles, so I love that one. It's great for the spinning rod. Or with a spinning reel, you can throw a spooler on it or some type of inline if you wanted to. But I did fish it quite a bit with a Drop XL 5 mil, and that worked really well too. So I don't know.
With Pink's rod too, what's important to note, we have a lot of people who ask about if they can use our rods for other species. Our rods tend to be straight up for panfish, except Pink's rod. If you want to use it for walleyes, you can use it for like a red lake rod, perch rod. Like, it will do all of that very well.
Yeah, if you were going to like Lake Winnipeg or something, I might not choose that rod. But for general walleye fishing, it's a great rod for smaller spoons and stuff like that. And it would be a wicked fun perch rod, no doubt in my mind.
Trout rod,
stocker trout, no doubt. But yeah, it's super fun rod.
And then Griff, you want to dive into yours because yours is very unique, and we have some really good footage of this rod being used coming out soon, so you'll be able to see us kind of dive into it.
Yeah, so mine's the Ultra Finesse rod. It's a straight up schoolie rod now. It's not like last year we made it versatile. You could use whatever reel, spinning, inline, schoolie, what on it last year. So it's a 19-inch blank with a 2-inch spring bobber. All recoil guides. We added the extra guides so you can cut the one off your schoolie reel so you don't have the plastic guide. But we a lot of people see those little rods and they don't think they can fight big fish with them. But I think the video and some of the pictures that are coming up will prove you wrong. That
It will speak for itself. Yeah.
Some very large, strong fish that the rod handled pretty easily.
And I will say the cool thing about that spring bobber on that rod is that it's cut down a bit from like the one that's on Bart. So it's not just like this floppy ultra, like, I don't know. I think people think spring bobber and they think that they're not going to be able to like work a bait properly, you know, which is not the case with this one.
No, I mean, it works all the way up to 5 mil jigs. You kind of go any bigger than that and it's going to start sagging. But I think any good spring bobber that's light like that is going to sag on a 6 mil, but yeah, we shortened it up and that helps a lot. Cause then you can really actually use it like a tip of a rod instead of it just being this floppy thing going like this when you jig. You can actually sit there and bounce your jig with the spring bobber, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And we did have a pretty dedicated effort on the schoolie this last little rip we had. And it's a hell of a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. I think a few of us
different than just fishing with a regular rod and reel,
A few of us, aka me and Pink, who don't use a schoolie a lot, used a schoolie a lot, and we can agree that it is a lot of fun.
Super fun.
Highly recommend it. But moving on to some other questions because we're getting them to stock up. Once again, just ask us questions. But one on here, I'm just going to say thank you, Jocelyn, for saying I edit well. I actually appreciate that. If you want to learn to edit, just mess around with footage. Like, that's the best way to say it. I just throw stuff at the wall and see what looks cool.
We got Josh Halverson bought one of our rods today. Thank you, brother.
Nice.
Thank you, Josh.
Sir.
So then we got Cookbook going to be digital. Pink, we're just going to be selling it for people to buy it and have it in hands, correct? His mic cut out. So we're going to have to wait for an answer for that question for a sec as I'm going to start scrolling. We are buying time for Pink right now. Don't mind us. Nothing crazy happening here. We're just going to piggyback on that, Pink, with another question for you once you're back. What's the favorite recipe you've made so far this year?
All right. I should be back now.
You are back.
Okay, so question 1, the digital version. So right now, I think this one's just going to be like a straight up book. If the way that it's going to be published, it may allow us to do like a Kindle type version if that's something people care about. But right now, not going to be digital, but in the future potentially. What was the second one? Favorite
recipe so far this year. Maybe pick one from the bowstring trip since that's what they all saw.
Right on. Okay. So I think that chilaquiles.
Yeah.
He cut out again. But yes, the chilaquiles, I think we would say all slapped and was probably really good. The pizza was phenomenal too. And we've seen a lot of people making it. If you guys are going to make the recipes, post pics and tag us. Pink loves seeing that.
Yeah, tag me in it. I'll share them all every time. I absolutely love it when people make these things. But yeah, the chilaquiles I think was definitely my favorite. I mean, the pizza one I just love because I've been making that for a super long time, and I got a kick out of seeing how many people really liked it and are doing it on their own too, which is great. I mean, I think it's good too. But that other one, that chilaquiles, the flavor in that's next level. So that's probably my favorite one from this year for sure.
Griff, what pinhead sizes are we using?
The 16th mostly. I mean, the 132nd can be really good when they're highly pressured or super, just off. I'd use that smaller one, but those are the two we're mainly using.
Yeah, I did catch a couple good ones on the 8th in that episode 6 as well.
Yeah. If you got some bigger, larger, there's some larger fish in there, don't be afraid to use the 8th.
Yeah. Well, and it fires down there so fast too.
That's true. Yeah, it gets there quick.
We just kind of dove through the rods, but if you're looking for a rod to buy that's just going to be really versatile, you're probably going to be looking at the Bart's Chronicle.
I would agree.
That or Waldo's will be really good.
I would say between those two.
Yep, if you want to get there. Because pink and griffs kind of tend to get more into specific technicality, I guess we would say.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start ripping through some of these.
Oh yes, happy birthday, Griff, or belated birthday.
Yeah, everybody's saying Griff.
We're all
birthday.
horrible friends, eh?
Yeah,
I looked at him. Griff and I were out fishing trying to get one more episode out of our last trip. And I looked at my phone and Snapchat was like, wish Adam Griffith a happy birthday. And I turned and looked at him and was like, hey, Griff, happy birthday. Snapchat just told me to tell you that.
Oh, boy. Come on.
Okay,
fire
here we are.
Fire away.
So Griff, it's a lot to read through, guys. Griff said in a previous episode, you're interested in fishing the biggest crappies across the ice belt. When you consider doing a season in Wisconsin?
Certain parts of Wisconsin.
Yeah, right.
We maybe have bounced around.
I mean, I know some I wouldn't go to.
Yeah. And Wisconsin has some pretty infertile water.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
There we go.
Waldo, you want to talk about double echo on a Vexilar? We could try to show this in a video as well.
Yeah, so pretty much it's another bottom rating, double of what your depth is. And what that signifies is harder bottoms. So the stronger or more visible a double echo gets, or even a triple echo, the harder the bottom it is. If you're on a triple echo, you're pretty much on a rock hump on Mille Lacs or Vermilion. It's really, really hard bottom. Sometimes the auto ranging on your unit won't work very well because of it, but it essentially just shows you how hard the bottom is. So a lot of times when we're using our Vexes in the weeds, we'll crank up the depth range to quadruple what the depth actually is. And we'll look to see if we find those echoes, because those are hard spots inside the weeds. And flashers show it very easily.
Nice.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm still reading, so that's why I probably look checked out right now.
What are you screening these or what?
There's so many. What do you guys look for when deciding to fish a lake? We get this question a ton. If you guys want to dive into it, I'm going to keep looking for more.
Let me start on this one. So, because I did see a question before that I think we kind of dropped that was about like lake survey stuff. So, one thing in particular with the lake surveys and like determining like, oh, should we try it or not? Because I mean, a lot of lakes have crappies, fishable populations of crappies, but to determine if they got big ones, when we're looking at those surveys, what we really are looking at is not just like what was captured in the survey, but the date that the survey was done. Because there's a big difference between a survey that was done in the springtime when a lot of the crappies were shallow versus one that was done in August when in a majority of the lakes in our area, a lot of the crappies tend to be a lot deeper, which are not typically captured in like a Fike net survey. And
nets are usually shallow. Like
yes, they're tied to shore. So they don't extend. They don't extend into deep water. So if you're seeing a survey from the springtime that has a lot of like 10 to 12-inch fish and really nothing above that, I would consider that not a great survey. It's not a bad survey, but it's not a great one. But
you got a ton of eaters to chase.
Right. But if I'm seeing a survey from August that has 14-inch fish in it, I'm going to that lake because the population is high enough that there are even giants shallow, even in the time of the year that they shouldn't be. So that's kind of one thing that I think we look for that is kind of like a little bit different, or it's a very specific thing, but looking at that date and determining kind of like where should the fish be at that time and what is the data that I'm seeing coming out of it.
Yeah. We also look at growth rates quite a bit too. If a population of fish has a really fast growth rate and there's multiple year classes present, that usually means that they might have some top end fish there too.
Right. And that information would be in that survey. Like usually at the bottom, there's a narrative section and it'll reference the growth rates of the fish in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was good. I'll touch on this one really briefly. We pay attention to barometric pressure a lot. This year filming, we're going to places and we're kind of given like 5 days, catch them in those 5 days. So we just figure out how to catch them in those 5 days. But if you're chasing big ones, you really want to look for slowly dropping pressure or even bottomed out pressure. But the bigger thing I think to keep track of with barometric pressure is when you really catch them on a lake, make sure you check what it was that day. Because we have had lakes where we've blasted big ones and it's been skied out, could not be higher pressure, and they're charged up. And then you go there when you would think it would be good with lowering or dropping pressure, and it's awful. So you kind of got to read each lake, but generally speaking, lowering or bottomed out pressure is good. This is a quick one, but what do we use for gloves? We've gotten this question a ton again this year, so we're going to need to talk about it more and put it in the videos. But they're Blackfish Air gloves. If you guys want to kind of talk about those a bit, I'm going to keep screaming through these.
Yeah, the Blackfish gloves are awesome. When it's super cold out and they get wet, just like any other thin gloves, they start to freeze up and then your hands will get cold eventually. But I mean, if it's like freezing conditions out or let's say above like 10 degrees, those Blackfish gloves are absolutely incredible. They are waterproof, so your hands don't actually get wet, but they're not super thick, heavy duty gloves. So if you're going to go and you want a glove for absolutely every weather condition, you might want to look at like some of the ice armor gloves. They make a few really good ones for that. But if you want more dexterity, when you're actually fishing, those Blackfish gloves are very form-fitting to your hand and super comfortable. And you can actually do stuff with them too.
I don't really like wearing gloves when I'm fishing. I like to like warm up between like whatever. And I don't really wear those Blackfish ones, but I have the Vertex ice armor ones. Yeah. And I've been loving those. They're totally waterproof, so you can like scoop slush out of your hole if you're trying to land a fish or something. But I pretty much only I wear a glove on my rod hand, and then I just am bare hand on my reel hand, unless I'm like moving spots or something. But those ones have been really good. Those are new too.
So this is kind of stemmed off of another question. So the question before was a guy said he was going to cast, so a new body of water. It's huge. He's never been there. How to break it down. Chris asked another one. How do you break down a large lake that you know has crappies? And then he kind of followed up a little bit further down, like saying too, like, what do you look for on a map and how do you use live to kind of do that? I'll let you guys kind of dive into that too. But the first thing I will say is when you're looking at live, use it forward facing. And the number one thing we look for is life. We don't necessarily like the first thing we do is not go like, oh, where are the crappies? Like sometimes it happens. We just find them right away. But the first thing you're looking for in a brand new lake is like, where's their life? Because you're going to find a lot in the winter that certain areas of the lake, there ain't life. There's nothing. It is a bowl of nothingness.
And explain what you're looking at. Because, I mean, I think everybody can pick off suspended fish on a live unit. But when you're talking live bottom, like what are you looking at?
Yeah, so when you're looking at life, like we said, live bottom. So you'll pan your live over, say, for example, and you just see flicker in or movement. Fish on the bottom are really hard to see on live. They're even really hard to see on down view on one of those type of units. That's why we use flashers. It's got really good target separation. But with forward facing, they can hide in that bottom 1 foot of mud. Crappies really like to do that. So you're just looking for life, flickering. You can see bait balls sometimes. You just literally want to see something because there are times you can spin it 360 for, I don't know, we've done it for hundreds of holes before and seen literally no life.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you got to move.
But Waldo, then you got to make a big move. And we talk about that sometimes, making big moves or little moves. When you first get to a big body of water, pick an area of the lake and make that your small lake. And then you're looking for life. And if you're not seeing life, make a big move to a different area of that part of the lake. You need to make big moves until you find life. Once you find life, start making small moves. Because once you find life, there's going to be other fish around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in the winter especially, because the food chain stuff that happens in the wintertime is much more localized than it is in like the spring or summer. Mm-hmm. So if there's an area of bottom where there's a particular type of bugs coming out of there, there's going to be every type of fish there because even the predatory fish are going to be eating the small fish that are eating those bugs. And outside of that area, there might be literally nothing else.
Yeah.
Kelly asked, in one of our previous videos, we referred to altering a pin head. Can you give a little insight I think the only thing I remember saying is the new ones, the Pinhead Pros, we take the snaps off the top.
Yep.
Is there anything else we do that I can't think of?
Not really. I mean,
she might have been referring to the jigs that I modified, where I bent the hook offset and then opened it up.
But that was on a drop kick, right?
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
not on a pinhead. That's on a drop kick.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do little adjustments like that with a lot of our tungstens, where we open the hook up and then we offset it just a hair. That just gives you a little bit more gap in the hook and allows for a little bit better hookup. But a lot of times these new jigs, like the Drop XLs, they already come with a extra wide gap hook to them. So you usually don't need to do that. It's just that on the drop kicks that we do that typically.
This is a good one. I appreciate this one because someone caught it. And this is my boy Kip. What's the meaning behind each of the icons in the main intro? Some are kind of obscure, just random. Those are not random. I took I took a lot of time figuring those out and making those. There is a meaning to all that. And yeah, if you guys want to start looking at it and diving into it, you'll figure out where we're going to be pretty soon.
It can be decoded.
It can be decoded. Yeah, you can definitely figure it out. So that's a good one. I'm glad someone appreciates that because I actually put a lot of time into that and I didn't get a lot of feedback and I was like kind of a little salty.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kip. Okay, I'm rolling through some other questions here. Waldo, you want to talk about the Thorne Brothers sale quick?
Yeah. 10% off. CC 2023 is going to be the code for that. It is 10%
Wow.
off.
We're gonna have to put that on the screen. Nobody's gonna know how to write that.
I know, right? CC 2023, and that's for anything online. So definitely go stock up on some Thorne Brothers stuff. Got a lot of baits in stock right now if you need any. I'm a bait junkie. I love having jigs. So
yeah, buy out Thorne's pinheads because those shouldn't be around much more.
And they're Tika minnows. Those Tikas are.
Come on, Pink. Is cereal a soup?
Oh, I didn't even see this popped up. Yeah, I'm gonna say no on this one. I gotta say denied. I'm gonna go. I would classify this more as a stew, if anything else.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right. Griff, you want to dive into kind of, we have the Sportsman and the Voyager from Polaris this year. You kind of want to dive into when we've enjoyed one over the other. We definitely enjoyed one way more than the other one this last week.
It's all depending on the snow amount. You know, if we got a ton of snow or slush, yeah, we're just going to go with the sled. But if we can drive the wheeler, we'll drive the wheeler. But, you know, it's all condition based. I mean, we can't say one's better than the other. They all got their time, you know, basically.
Yeah.
I will say, having spent more time on a sled this year than like in seasons past, I think the sled is a more comfortable ride for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Even if there's not a lot of snow.
The wheeler just, it's kind of like driving a log truck, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I can see where you would get more use out of a wheeler in like other times of the year and stuff too, but the sled's legit.
This is a great question. If you guys want to dive into it, you guys can see this, right? I'm going to keep rolling through. Yeah. Okay. So read it out loud for everyone else. And
if you were just run and gun, what few things would you bring and what tools do you use to prep for a trip? Ooh. Okay. We'll go round table on this. Let's do two things.
All right.
That we would bring. I would bring a pinhead. And I would bring a Vexilar.
Yeah, but he said, "What few things would you bring?" You know,
we're all gonna say
a bunch.
Add on to the list.
Well, yeah. So we want live, obviously, and like a snowmobile or a wheeler, so you could do it much more efficiently. You know.
Yeah. Pink. What two things would you bring?
Yeah, I mean, because the electronic stuff we already have covered, like definitely both of those things.
Let's go off the wall with you then. What two oddball things would you bring that are necessary?
You'd probably bring a smoker or something.
I'm not running and gunning with a smoker, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so I would say probably not. This is kind of like run and gun fishing is. I think is like you have to keep your head in the game or you're just going to quit because there's a lot of running gun stuff. You're moving a lot more than you're hoping you needed to. The gloves, I think, is a huge one there, because as soon as your hands get cold, you are out of the game and you are not going to be as efficient. Like, next thing you know, you got to be picking up your auger and walking in the next hole, and just being comfortable enough to just keep grinding even when it sucks because you haven't found them yet. I think that's a big one.
Yep. Bart.
So quick one. When's the next Crappie Chronicles video? Well,
okay, yeah, you totally.
Yeah, you can get a pass.
No, I was gone. I mean, I just add in, like, you want a bait that gets down fast if I'm running and gunning. So I'd
Waldo already brought a pinhead, dude.
You already brought a pinhead.
I did not hear that.
Unreal.
You don't.
Someone bring a Vex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then we're good. We're covered. We don't need anything else. Then next Chronicles video, it should be out next Tuesday, is my goal. We got a couple different episodes coming, and we got, like, man, you guys think we're traveled in this last one. Oh my God. We got a lot of travel coming up. So yeah, I kind of got to buckle down and basically pack up my life for the next 2 weeks. Okay, rolling through here. Waldo, here's a good one for you.
I've got live scope and thinking of a flasher to add. Would Vex FLX 20 be good enough for 0 to 18 foot? Yeah, it definitely would be. The FLX 20 is actually an extremely popular unit because it is a price point unit. It has a lot of really good features, such as 10-foot depth ranges, low power mode, and your auto zooms. But it doesn't have some of the features like the 28 and 30 have, such as like frequency adjustments and auto ranging. And so it's pretty much a stripped down version of those two. So it's a really, really good unit if you want something that still has that same target separation that you would get with a 28 or a 30, but not going to break the bank. So there should be a lot of sales coming up here soon. It's normally, once you get towards the end of ice season, stores that have a lot of inventory left usually like to blow things out for the next following season. So definitely look at Thorne Bros and see what they have in stock. They have the 10% off sale going on today as well. Otherwise, we also have reconditioned units available for sale at Vexilar on our website. So periodically check in there if you want to save extra buck or two.
This is a good one that we can all dive into since we've been looking at it a lot, but I'll just dive in first on this. Having used Live Scope or Mega Live, which one do you think is better? I've used both open water and ice fishing. The one thing I'll say about Mega Live that I think we've all agreed on this year looking at it is, with Mega Live, you can tell what a fish is and how big it is, like, I would say light years more than other sonar. It's really good at picking up like exactly whatever you're looking at. It's really good at showing it.
Well, as far as fish,
yes.
It's because it's a higher frequency. So especially when you're under like 40 feet away from the target, you get very, very good depiction with that high frequency of what it actually is and the sizing of it. The only negatives, it doesn't shoot out quite as far as Live Scope. But for us, we care more about seeing and trying to tell what that fish is, because for us, it's about how efficient we are with our time on the water. And with the Mega Live, it shows us very clearly if it's a crappie, a big crappie, or bluegills. And it's very easy to tell on it. So that's my big thing is yeah, it doesn't shoot out quite as far, but it is so clutch when you get near fish with it. It's definitely saved us a lot of time being like, oh yeah, no, those are just probably 10, 11 inch crappies, or no, those are giants. We need to fish those.
Right. Or if there's one giant in a school. And I would say for Mega Live versus Live Scope too, is that like for looking at structure or cover, the Live Scope's definitely better for that. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. But that, like we were just talking about, that fish identification aspect is not even really that close.
Yeah.
The other
mapping.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other nice
Yeah.
thing about
Oh, yeah.
Mega Live is the Lake Master mapping is so much better than anything else, especially if you're in the upper Midwest, like Minnesota, Wisconsin. It is really good, and that's another huge reason for us using the Humminbird stuff this year. Lake Master mapping's phenomenal,
Yeah.
and being able to kind of highlight your depth areas and figure out your maps, it's very beneficial.
Yeah, because there's spots on some lakes that we'll go and fish, and Navionics shows that there's a 20-foot basin and it's a 10-foot deep weed flat with 0 basin.
Right.
But when you look at Lake Master, and it's got it dead on 10-foot weed flat. So we really have been enjoying the Lake Master mapping this year.
Yeah. And the dead zone deal is the same across the board. I mean, they all have drawbacks that way with that bottom foot.
Yeah.
This is a good one, Pink. I didn't even think of this for you. Do we have anything on the horizon for this?
Well, if we ever get up early enough for breakfast, yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to start filming that at what, like 3?
Yeah,
probably.
We could definitely do that. I mean, I have a ton of recipes that are.
We
in
could
the
just have
breakfast
breakfast for dinner.
We could.
I mean, we could. That's a good idea, honestly. I hadn't even thought of that with all the recipes he's been making. This one, you should do a tourney with each other. I don't feel like eating a bar of pickled herring coated Cheetos, so I am going to say no.
He just takes the L right off the bat.
He's like, yeah, not even close.
I'm not hot this year. I'm not going to take it. I almost won the clam trap attack tournament, which, by the way, is coming up soon again. But I almost won that last year, but I can't catch anything this year. So I'll just film these guys catching them.
Regular or jointed pinhead? Definitely
regular.
If PBs were to be broken by the 4 of you, what would they have to be for each of you? This is a good question because our hope is in the next 2 weeks we will all have new PBs, and that I know that's crazy to say, but
that's super attainable.
It might be pretty attainable, and it's kind of scary that it is. So, mine. I believe I'd have to get a 16.5. That'd be about where I'm at. I've filmed bigger, but
are we parsing out blacks and whites or what?
No,
just the biggest one.
Just go big. Just go biggest one for now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it me?
Yeah, we're looking at you.
Oh, okay. My PB was a black, and I never got a length on it, but I did weigh it, and it was 2.4. So that's the biggest one. So length, I don't know. It was definitely 16 plus, but I never got a length on it. I just threw it on. I didn't have a tape. I just threw it on a scale. So if I get one over 2, what did I say? 2.4? What did I say?
2.40.
Yeah. Yeah. It was flat. So I was trying to find. Anyway.
Okay.
That's what it is. I don't have a length.
You have to break.
Yep, I would have to break 17.25. I am not sure. I didn't weigh that one. I wish I did, because weighing fish is actually super dope because you get to see the differences from lake to lake. Some weigh half a pound heavier than others. So that's why we're carrying scales with us.
Here's a picture.
Oh, yeah. That's
Dang.
Yeah, that's a big.
It wasn't through the ice, though. I have shame.
Yeah, 17.25 for me, and then we'll talk about Griff now.
I'd have to break 18.75.
Hey, next question.
That's gonna be the toughest one.
Which would be
we might be able to do it.
Hopefully all of ours are over 19.
Hunter showed up. Homie
Hi,
Hunter
Hunter.
went. Hey Hunter, nice to see you, buddy. Regular jointed pinhead.
Regular.
Yeah, we all only use the regular. Jointed still catches fish. There's a lot of people that like it. We just use the regular. Actually, this is a good thing to bring up quick. So the Chronicles Blackfish jacket, we filmed a little bit of stuff about this that'll be coming soon. If you guys want this, like, comment a ton on the next few YouTube videos that you want to see it. Because if there's enough interest, we'll do an order of it. We're going to have to do it fairly soon. But we will do it if there's enough interest. Along with that, look at my social medias later this week. I have one that I'm going to give away. So that will potentially be happening. But yeah, we just need you guys to comment on the videos if you want it, to be honest. So spam the comments in the next like 4 to 6 videos and we'll figure it out from there. Brian, the GoPros we're running this year, we got all GoPro 9s, except the one on the live is a 7. Watercolors, color patterns. Dive into that. I'm going to keep looking.
Okay, so do you guys see any patterns on colors that work best in day, night, and different watercolors? Yeah, for all of us, we kind of keep it pretty simple. We usually just stick with white, black, and pink, or a variation of that of some sort. We don't get too crazy with it, but we definitely, nighttime, we like to use glow lures. So whether it's a chartreuse, a pink, anything that glows, we'll make little switches from there. But daytimes, a lot of times it does actually depend on the watercolor. If it's dirty water, we're usually either super bright white or black, so it gives a silhouette and they can see it. And then during clear waters, we like to go for supernatural presentations. So if they're on a minnow bite, we'll go with a lot of bait fish patterns, and if they're on a bug bite, we'll use a lot of dark neutral colors for bug patterns. So that's kind of just a basic rundown on it.
I think collectively though, we kind of group things. So it's like we essentially are like black, white, and then like you said pink, but I think the pink one is like pink is kind of the same as orange is the same as chartreuse, like in the way we think about it. So it's like just because it's a pink one doesn't mean that's all they're going to eat. Yeah. But when you start breaking it down, you kind of got like light, dark, and then kind of like vibrant colors.
Yeah.
And if you're catching one on a pink one, I might tie on a chartreuse one and have just as good a success.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But it's just kind of like black is kind of motor oil and things like that too. It's not just those three, but they're kind of like categories.
Griff, question for you. Eddie, who you said, I think you were out fishing with him. He meant to ask you when you were on your guide trip why you don't use wax worms or spikes or live bait. So if you want to dive into that, that'd probably be a good one.
Pinhead for 2 days. So
you cut off at the beginning of that.
I said he used the pinhead for the 2 days he was with me, but I don't know. I just haven't had as much success when putting bait on there. Like I know some guys tip it with stuff. I don't know. It's all confidence thing, but I feel like you got the blade on there doing the work, so you really don't need any bait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so it's just one more thing to mess with too.
Yeah, and I haven't noticed a difference of anything, like putting it on there to not having it.
And we don't like having to coax finicky fish with our style of fishing. It's fast and furious and get down there quick and fish aggressive. And so we usually bank on that route. And once you bring live bait like spikes and wax worms into it, it slows everything down so much more, having to rebait instead of being able to just get back down there quick.
And almost always you're going to be able to get them to eat plastics. Like in the videos we have coming up, there was one day we were out in an area that's notoriously known that they will only eat live bait, and we were catching fish on plastics. So or no bait.
Can be more just like a cadence thing to get them to actually go.
Yeah.
The other thing with like wax worms and stuff is, we got so much crap that we take on all these trips and where we're going. I would just leave them in my coat and they'd get frozen anyway.
Yeah.
Or you bring them inside, forget about them, and they'd hatch into flies.
Yeah, they turn into flies, and then we'd have to deal with that.
Have you noticed live imaging push fish out of an area? Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's happening more and more and more and more. That's why we only use it to look ahead of us. And the moment we see them, we tend to turn it away or we just make sure that they drill a hole in that area to see how they react. And then we pull it out. It really is affecting them. Even if you're in down view, whatever you're doing, like they're pushing out such a high power and frequency. Fish are figuring that out very rapidly.
Yeah, you see it with bass fishing guys down south too. It's the same exact thing. They get pressured by that sonar hitting their lateral line.
Sorry, my Siri for some reason popped on.
Next question.
Yeah, next question.
Okay. Hey, this is good. Our boy Logan Descent. Logan wants to know, he's the pickiest eater in the world, like legitimately. He wants to know if he can be the taste tester since he's the most picky.
Yes.
Ooh. I wonder who's pickier, him or Luke.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know. Luke said he was picky, but
Luke said he was picky.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
say-
he just hasn't tried a lot of food.
I would say Logan. Yeah.
Yeah. Logan, like, legitimately, when we went on work trips, would be like, I need a cheeseburger. And you were like, but what about this? And he, like, wouldn't eat it. Jay wants to know, Griff, are you wearing that pullover right now? Is that what it is? The Gale that we could show everybody? If you guys want that, let us know, because we will do. Yeah, look at that model. Come on, turn around.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Where's the strut?
So if you
I'm in
guys
my
want to
boat.
see that,
Gonna
let
have
us
to
know.
What else you got?
I'm still rolling through. Griff, choose. I know it's not going to be me, but choose one of the guys to go fishing with.
Why you guys do me like that?
Well, if it is me, I would be so happy. I am good at
Griff.
drilling holes and
Pick
going
one.
live. Yeah, who are you picking?
Oh, Jesus. What are we fishing for?
Just general.
I just don't want to say, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, well, we'll keep it out.
have to say.
Plead
All
the
right,
fifth.
this is a question from G-Man, and I guess this is a good thing to dive into. He said, I don't get how releasing a few 12-inch crappies helps with genetics of the big lakes you guys fish. It's kind of I would say it's more of we do it because it is a train, like it's a snowball effect. Like, yeah, maybe the few we release don't make that big of a difference, but we hope everyone else does it, because if everyone's doing it, it makes a huge difference. If you don't, then like that's where it spirals, is when, say, you go to a pretty little lake that's got a bunch of 14 to 16s in it, and everyone's like, oh, I'm going to take one for my wall. And then there's 50 of them taken out of it. That crushes a lake.
But here's the deal. It's never one for my wall. It's guys going and taking limits every day. Because when a lake is hot, guys go there and they're bringing their buddies, and everyone's taking their 10 fish out every day, the entire season. And it's more just that mentality of like across the board. It's good. It's conservation effort is what it is. It's not like, yeah, we caught 12 today and we let them all go, and now this lake's gonna have megas, you know.
And it screws up like the population balance too, and can stunt the population over time.
Do we like the new Pinhead Pro versus a regular Pinhead? What are thoughts?
I love the new Pinhead Pro. The old Pinhead had a smaller hook and a thinner gauged wire hook, and we were constantly bending them out or breaking them. And I have yet to have an issue with a single Pinhead this year bending out a hook or breaking it. They put a gaff treble in it now, so that's Clam's new treble hook, where it's a little bit heavier gauge, and it's also a size up per size from last year. So like, I'm not sure what the hook size is, but if you had a 16th ounce regular Pinhead versus a Pinhead Pro 16th ounce, the hook is slightly bigger in the Pro Pinhead, and that has also been huge.
I agree. I like the hook better, and the new one is like a zinc alloy material versus lead, and so it is a bit like, per its size, it is a slightly bigger body for each size.
Yeah, and
which I actually like quite a bit.
Yeah. I think that 1/16 now is like the literal perfect size.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's perfect.
The last one was a little on the small side. This one is perfect, and the new paint jobs, they last.
Yeah, those are dirty.
Oh, and they got like that scale pattern on them. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
The only thing that we do that they did add on was the snap, and we do take that off because the snap likes to get caught up in the treble hook when you're jigging aggressively. So we're always been, we like to keep things simple where we just tie direct. Like, we're not going to use a swivel or anything like that. So we take that snap off and we just tie direct to the pinhead.
Yep.
So bucket list ice trip, and all I'm gonna say is the next one we are going on is like, we hope it goes well, but it's like top bucket list for me for chasing crappies. I couldn't think of anywhere else I'd want to go.
Is this crappie specific? Or
if this is crappies, then we're
going on it.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, we're literally doing it. You'll see it. Like the videos, if it goes well, hopefully. Knock on wood.
Well, Bart, what would your dream list ice trip be for
any species?
Any species. Let's do that one.
Wherever Weeb catches those gigantic lake trout.
Clearwater Lake.
End
Yeah,
of the earth, dude.
It'd be Lake Trout.
Yeah, it'd be Lake Trout probably.
definitely
I'd
Lake
want to go
Trout
do
fishing.
that.
Yeah, that would probably be my bucket list size trip, was to go out there.
Yeah, that would be sick. I mean, I would say I've been there, but Pack is just, it's dumb. It's so good, and like, even though I've been there before, all I think about is going back.
Yeah,
Like,
same for me.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Pink and I went to Fork Pack chasing Lake Trout, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So that's amazing. Idaho perch is fun too, but to be honest, I'd probably just go to South Dakota because there's perch pretty close to that same size, and it's not a 20+ hour drive away.
Yeah. But the cool thing about some of those other locations like Pack or some of that stuff in Manitoba is that it's more of an adventure versus just going fishing, because there's a lot that goes into it with like equipment you need to bring and machines, and like just getting to the places is just wicked. So,
and you don't hardly see anyone too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is like the only people that are going there are all in. So
yeah,
that's the kind of stuff I love.
What's your bucket list trip, Griff?
It'd probably have to be Lake Trout after hearing you guys talk about them all the time.
Yeah, they're
It'd just be, I'd want to go catch like, those Fort Pack ones are big, but I'd want to go catch like the freak giant
a 40-pounder.
Yeah, like I'd want to do that.
Yeah.
Do you all tire baits versus swivel snaps, and how many rods do you prep ahead of going out? None of us use swivels, so I can answer that one easily. How many rods we tie them before we go out, boys?
All of them.
4 to 6.
I usually have 4.
Yeah, 4 for sure, up to 10 if you're Waldo sometimes.
Waldo stays up mega late, like tying up stuff the night before too.
And then he'll use one.
Then he'll use one.
Yeah.
But hey,
I'm prepared, though. I am prepared.
But you got to have at least a couple.
And I will
at least a couple.
I'll retie one 100 times until I get the knot perfect.
Yep.
Pink. So Olstad Outdoors needs some cooking advice. He's tried the Sriracha Mayo crappie skewer a couple times now, but they keep falling off the sticks. How do you get them to stay on the sticks and be firm?
Okay, so a couple things. So you got a couple things probably working against you there. One is the freshness of your fish. If they've been kicking around in the freezer a little bit longer than normal, sometimes the meat starts to break down the longer you have it in your freezer. So if you're gonna make those skewers, either do them with fresh fish or something that's only been in your freezer for maybe like a week or something like that. Beyond that meat just starts to break down, and then you have that issue. Second would be how you're putting it on the skewer. So the way that I do it is I like stick it in and kind of like ribbon it, so it's kind of like a foot, go up, go down, go up, go down, kind of like fold it like that on the stick. You just poke it straight through. There's not enough meat holding it on, and as soon as you start to cook them, they just disintegrate. But that would be my suggestion there, if that helps you.
What size are keepers for us?
Ooh, probably
10 to 12.
Under 12 usually. 12 is like that mark where we like to release them, but 10 to 12s are about perfect.
Yeah, and it depends where you're at too, because there's lakes where they don't have them that size, and then you're keeping 9s. You know, like just because it's like if the mass of the population is 9s, that's probably where your eater's going to be. If it's 12s, that's probably what they're going to be.
A perfect is like that 11.5 though.
Oh, they got some meat on them, boy.
They get the thick backs to them at that range. So, oof.
Hey Jerry, our merch is linked in every YouTube video description. So just click more info. They'll all be linked right there. We'll be posting more stories and stuff with links too, but they're linked in. It's linked in literally every video. Probably going to be hard to Google, but it is in the description of every single video.
Subscribe. When we get big enough, it'll show up on Google better.
Yep. There you go. I'll be in Otter Tail County the 21st to the 25th. What 3 jigs are must-haves besides a pinhead? So 2 jigs because you need like multiple pinheads.
Yeah.
Drop kick.
4 mil.
4 mil. Yep.
Yeah, 4 mil and drop XL, 4 mil and a drop kick. I'd probably have.
Probably set.
Yeah, and then I'd have a Mackie and a Mackie whammy.
Yep.
2 plastics options, and then I'd have one that's probably a all white setup, and then one that's a black and motor oil setup, and then I can switch between to have an offset color if I need. But that would be my setup.
Yeah, I can't see needing anything other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd literally probably just have 3 pin heads.
But yeah, you're gonna deal with that pinhead as fast as you can. So. Yeah.
Do we find bluegills mixed in with bigger crappies?
Usually, no. We find bluegills mixed in with like the average size ones. Not
Yeah.
a single time on our.
Unless they're freaks.
But we do find big bluegill or big crappies mixed in with bluegill.
Yeah.
The other way of what this question is.
Yeah. Yeah, we find big bluegills mixed in with crappies.
No, other way.
Other way.
Or no. We find big.
Slow it down for him. Slow it down for him.
Yeah.
Someone draw a graph.
We do.
Is that too many break your PBs tonight?
Yeah, yeah. No, yes. Whatever.
No, you're good. You can explain it, Waldo. Go ahead.
Go.
No, I'm good. We're good.
You give up.
I think
We
you got the
ruined it.
gist.
We're
of that.
sorry. All right, favorite auger setup. So we use the clam conversion kit, and then you can either put the auger it comes with has been great. We've been using that this year. Cuts really good. Or you can put a K-drill on the bottom of it. Kind of just what you're looking for. If you're going to be someone who's reopening holes, especially in a permie, you want to get a K-drill, not a shaver style blade.
Yeah, and I do that clam plate is awesome. If you're running a drill setup, I think that's the way to go versus the like mixer handle.
Yeah, that's for
Yes.
any synthetic auger out there. You want to definitely have the clam plate on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's just so much easier to hold on to and carry around. And
Yeah.
but
Just
we
be
and we
careful.
also use the 8-inch. I know the K-drill one's like what 7.5, right?
Yeah.
We're making 8.5 too.
And
Yeah.
8.5 and a 6.
Yeah. So we are using an 8-inch, pretty much exclusively.
Plus, the Mega Live Deucer fits way better down an 8-inch hole. It has a hard time fitting down a 7.5.
Right.
Ron, my bucket list trip, like I said, it's literally the one I'm about to go on. So I'm really excited for it. I really
can't
hope
tell
we
you.
catch. Yeah, we can't tell you that. I really hope we catch fish. If we don't catch fish, I'm going to be really mad. It'll still be cool though. Going to be beautiful, but it's just going to be a long drive home.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't catch fish, it's going to be quite the story.
Yeah, yeah. Jump off a building. Waldo, this one's for you. G-Man asking, why do you use a K-drill over just an ion?
Because I work for K-drill.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, no, the K-drill has chipper blades. They are overlapping, so each blade on each side is different. So it's constantly cutting fresh, brand new ice. So it's the fastest chipper blade on the market. It also has lifetime free resharpening on the blades. So normally you get 2 to 3 resharpenings out of the blades before you need a new set, and we sharpen them for you for free. They're built by us in the Vexilar plant in Bloomington, so they're made in the USA. All the parts are sourced locally. It's just a great auger. It's very lightweight. It's under 4 pounds. It's the lightest auger on the market right now. It's just a very solid auger, and they are hard to break. Bart and I have used them for years, and I've yet to break one.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to break them. That's part of my job.
Waldo's job description is literally break a K-drill, and he can't do it. So
Yeah.
we've seen him break a lot of things. So if he can't break it, you can't break them.
Yeah.
This is a really good question. Always hear you guys saying you'll hit multiple lakes in a day sometimes. What are or aren't you seeing or experiencing on a lake that makes you want to try the bite on a new lake, or factors that go into that decision?
Bart, that's all you, bud.
So I think the biggest thing, like Waldo and I have hit a lot of lakes and days before when we've kind of been scouting for these, and but I think the biggest thing we go around is like we talk about, we make big moves, like 100 feet, 100 yards, especially with forward-facing sonar, and we're looking for life. What we'll run into is if we find life and that life ain't moving fast, we can't really get it to react, or we drill there and they spook, stuff like that. It's just, what's the point, basically, is what we think. Like another thing to incorporate and think about here is we're trying to film this. So when we only have a certain amount of days to film it, we got to go find active fish. Those fish could become active in 6 to 12 hours or whatever it might be, but it's very hard for us to bank on that. We've tried that before. It's worked. It's not worked. But generally speaking, we are just going until we find fish we can catch. And a lot of that comes down to finding life. And when you do find life, finding fish that are the caliber we want to catch. And, you know, we can pretty quickly figure that out. If there's, you know, big crappies there, what's going to be going on. So I think that's the best way to say it. It's just moving fast. We don't settle. Like, we don't set up houses and chill or like unpack our houses from moving until we decide and like establish we think this is a area we want to be in for a long time. I also want to add quick, keep asking questions. We'll keep answering them for a bit here. We keep having more people join, so this keeps getting bigger and bigger, which is good. So new people here, there is a 10% off sale going on everything over at Thorne Brothers. So if you use a code CC2023 or 2023, you get 10% off almost everything at Thorne Brothers for the next 24 hours. That could be our rods. It could be a live unit. It could be a Vexilar. You name it, head on over there and get some stuff. And yeah, we got that sale going on. And if you guys want merch, the last merch of Merch Drop 1 is going to be gone soon. And if you pay attention to the website, there's probably going to be some new stuff popping up on Thursday. We will not have an episode out on Thursday. It'll be next Tuesday, but the merch will be there. So if you guys want to cop it before anyone else does, it'll be there. Okay, now to more questions. Travis has asked this a couple times, and I've just been trying to keep up with questions, so I've skipped over it. So sorry, Travis. But how many holes are we drilling a day per episode, would you guys say?
I think it varies a lot.
Yeah, sometimes.
Thanks for coming, Travis. Travis was my roommate in college, so I would say it varies a lot. But on average in a day, I bet we're somewhere probably around 100.
Yeah,
but on slow days, it can be way more. I mean, how many holes do we get out of one of those batteries on like 12 inches ice?
Out of the 9 amp, you get on the 9 amp flexible, you get right around 112, 115 inches of ice per amp hour. So you're looking at about 1,000 inches of ice. So that would equate to about pretty much about 100 holes.
12 inches of ice holes.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, we've had days where we juiced like 2-3 batteries.
Right. But then we've also had days where I have the chargers running off the inverter in my truck, and we're constantly drilling through 9s because there's 3 foot of ice, and we're still drilling that many holes.
Yeah. So I would say anywhere from 100 to 400 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, some days it's just dumb.
Plus. It's been dumb some days.
But some days we've had where we literally drilled 5 holes too. So.
And like we should add, and that even goes in on the question he was asking about like what we're looking for. Like, we drill until we find fish we can catch. There has literally been a day Waldo and I went fishing to try to film an episode, and we drilled all day, and I never pulled out a rod.
Yeah,
because we never even found anything I wanted to fish. And like, I think if you want to chase these giant fish and these giant crappies like we do, you need to have that mentality. Like, we don't settle. Like, we just keep banging our head against a wall until we find it.
Well, we could be going dark to dark, just drilling for 20 minutes when it goes down.
Yeah, like the last episode.
Like episode 6 was like that, where it was like we worked super hard all day, and it did not happen until literally right at the end.
Yeah. We were getting pretty frustrated too, but that's
why you got to just stay in the game, though, because it can happen at any moment.
Oh yeah. We got a couple questions for me. There's a DeWalt versus Milwaukee one. That is literally like Ford versus Chevy. I've ran both. I personally use DeWalt. They have a little bit more power, but Milwaukee has a much better warranty system on their tools and their batteries. So, I mean, it's to each their own. To be honest with you, a lot of it comes down to what other tools you have. If you have a bunch of Milwaukee tools, and you might as well make use of all those batteries that you have and use them and get a Milwaukee drill for your ice auger, or same thing with DeWalt. So I use them both. They
burned up both too.
I have broken so many Milwaukee and DeWalts. It's unbelievable. So they both break. Milwaukee's got a better warranty. DeWalt has more power though when you're drilling a hole. So to each its own.
Nice.
When you guys are fishing backwaters for crappie, what are you looking for locations to try? Been wanting to try backwaters, but feeling like a different style feeling like they're a different style body of water than a lake.
I'll take this one.
Yeah,
I'll start.
Go for it.
So with the backwater stuff, if it's connected to the river, well, there's like two types of backwaters, right? So you got the ones that are back. Okay. There's ones that are actually connected to the river. And then you have ones that are floodplain lakes, which are not directly connected, but they connect on high water. So I think if you're looking for backwater lakes, which are not directly connected, you're going to want to look at everything that's within the floodplain. So there's lots of maps that show that, where the high water mark is versus what the bank height is in that area. And generally these ones, if they have any kind of depth at all, they're worth looking at. I mean, depending on, you have to try them. Not every single one is good, but most of them that have 3+ feet of depth, and especially if you're finding ones that have 10 or so feet, they're going to have fish in them. Just depends on if the size that you're looking for is there. Now, the ones that are connected to the river are, I think, pretty cool too, but you're looking for a specific type of cut in that case. So you're looking at, you have a main river channel and then some type of branch channel that has a closed back to it. So it would be like a river channel and then something sticking off the side like that. And the key to those is that you want one that doesn't have the opening facing up current, because you don't want the river channel blowing into the cut you're fishing. You want, if the river channel is flowing this direction and the cut goes like this, the current's bypassing it, so you have stagnant water in the back of it, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a place for the bait fish to pull out of the river channel, and then at the same time, those predatory fish are going to round that corner and get into that slack water. There might be some moving water in it, but you want that to be facing opposite the current line. But it doesn't matter how shallow it is. If it's connected to the river, if it's a foot of water, it's worth fishing. It's mainly as long as the bait's there, you're going to be in good shape. So you just want to make sure if you're checking it to be opposite the current, or it's a floodplain lake that connects, because we've had it even here where ones that were good haven't connected in a couple of years because it's been drought and they suck now. So
yeah, they change a lot. Andy, what do we do to keep camera and drill batteries warm on the ice? We don't, honestly. Everything gets cold. We just have a ton of them.
We just have a lot of batteries.
Yeah. The DeWalt Flex Volts do really, really well in the cold. You got to warm them up to charge them. So that's kind of a pain. But other than that, like camera batteries, I just have a ton of them. And then GoPros, we're running them. They're just plugged into like a little power pack. It's basically what you'd like charge your phone with or something like that. You can get them like $20 to $40 off of Amazon. Any of them are good as long as you keep that battery pack then warm. So then we'll tuck that into our bibs or whatever. Just make sure you get a more expensive GoPro cord then, which by more expensive, it's like instead of the 99-cent one, get the $4.99. Is the best way to put that.
Yeah, and I think those bricks are like 5,000 to 6,000 milliamp ones.
Yeah, I would have to look at Amazon.
I'm pretty sure.
I want to say they're 5,000 to 6,000 as well. Okay. Hey, Waldo and Pink, what's the longest you guys have ever stayed out on the ice?
Too long.
I think cumulatively that day would have been 25 hours.
Yep.
I mean, day plus 1 hour, because we had to get our crap off the ice too.
Yeah.
And you guys had a lot of crap.
We did maximum crap.
I met you there that morning and was just like, you're bringing all this on the lake? Holy.
And we walked.
But the good thing was that it wasn't worth it. So that was nice.
That was great.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Waldo, when will the digital depth gauges be back?
Not for a while. Those had like a 52-week wait on them from overseas, so that probably won't be in stock for a bit. I'm hoping we'll have them for this next year, but we'll see.
Okay, that's a good one, actually. This is a good question. Have we noticed catching bigger fish on lakes that have implemented special regulations on crappies and sunfish?
No.
Not really.
Not yet.
No.
I was going to say we have, because there's multiple episodes of the series that were definitely filmed on special reg lakes.
But I don't know that those. But though, I don't think they were implemented in time. You know what I mean? Like I think some.
I don't think they were implemented in time for it to make an immediate impact. Right. I mean, those lakes
already had them.
They already had them, but I think it's going to keep them and make them better.
I agree.
Because they won't be getting harvested.
But I mean, where those have only been in place for a couple of years, it's not enough time for that to really.
Yeah, you're not going to notice it yet.
But then I've also fished lakes that have had special regulations for a really, really long time, and they suck just as bad as some of the lakes around here. I mean, I don't know. To be honest with you, it really depends on the lake.
And really how much fishing pressure it gets. Because if people are harvesting them out, it's just 5 fish instead of 10. Okay, so then it just takes twice as many days for them to kill that many. Like, you know, if people aren't practicing catch and release, then it's not going to really help that much.
Yeah, and it depends on the lake too. Some lakes just don't grow them that big, and they put a special regulation on it, hoping that it will work, and it doesn't. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it completely depends.
Like
long
the guy
term,
up north
it should help, but
the guy up north that you guys met.
Oh yeah. The guy that was like, you know, this is a 5-fish lake, right? And he's like, but you know, your possession limit's still 20, so you can.
It's like,
you know, he's going out there grabbing 5, he's going back home chuckling.
No kidding.
It's 5 for a reason. Don't do that. G-Man is already got the first question of it. Possibility of a season 4. If you guys want a season 4, this sucker's got to blow up. So send it to everyone.
Yeah, people gotta subscribe. We gotta share this around.
Yeah, so like every video, everyone here, we want you commenting first, second, love it. We're here.
Blow it up.
Help. We appreciate all the texts and messages and everything you guys give us, but like if you sent those things on the comments,
would be huge.
I'd love it. It would be huge.
Yeah.
So please do that. If everything keeps going well and we don't kill each other by the end of this next trip, there could be a possibility. But yeah, we need your support.
We
need your support, and it's been fantastic. But we need to kind of go to the next level.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a good question because we all got new boots this year. What's our go-to for boots? Because Waldo hated his last year.
Oh yeah. No, so I had a pair of Clam Sub-Zeros. They got wore out, and then last year they were out of stock, so I went through 3 different pairs of boots last year, and finally I got new Clam Sub-Zeros this year, and they're amazing. We all love them. They actually have traction.
Yeah, it's great.
and we should say too, because we ran into this year when we got new boots. When you first put those boots on and those liners, you are going to swear to God they are 2 sizes too small for you. Just wear them around for like an hour or 2.
And then they'll fit good. Perfect.
Yeah, they'll be perfect. Just don't panic. Like it's normal.
We all panicked so hard.
We're like, oh
no. We all got super worried because we all got our new boots. We're up in bowstring. And we all put them on, and we like looked at each other like, uh-oh, this is not good. Oh, the boots are fitting too small. Well, we wore them around the house for about 2 hours, and that fixed it pretty quick.
I think this is a Waldo question, but I'm using a DWT 999, but I don't have any flexible batteries. Is it worth getting the flexible batteries?
Yes.
Short answer, yes.
Yes, 100% definitely is. I think you meant DCD 999 because that is the drills that we actually use. Any of the 99 series of DeWalt's will work great with any of these synthetic augers or clam plate augers on the market. That 999 flexible drill, it utilizes more of the potential that the flexible battery has. because it's a 20/60 volt battery. So it gives the drill significantly more power. Even if it's a standard 20 volt drill, if you put a regular DeWalt battery on and then a flex volt on and you drill a hole with each, it's a very noticeable power difference.
Those flex volts eat. Like it was when Waldo first got those, we were like audibly like, wow.
Oh yeah.
I had my next one. Okay, so Jocelyn's asked this a couple times. What bite is better, daylight, midday, or night? So if you watch the Chronicles and over the past 3 years of us doing this now, I bet you 80% of our biggest fish have been caught in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think the numbers bite, though, is still a prime time thing.
Numbers will definitely still be your sunrise and sunset.
But bigs bite at those weird hours, middle of the night or middle of the day.
Especially on pressured water.
Yeah, that's when everyone's off the lake. Everyone leaves after the night or the evening bite or the morning bite, and the lake's quiet during those times.
That's why they get big.
Yep, they're smart.
Tim, if you want to use this code in store, I would imagine they'll still give it to you. Just mention you were watching the Crappie Chronicles live stream and you just wanted to swing into the store to get stuff instead. I'm sure they would honor it. Don't quote me, but I would. I know them pretty well.
Bart will pay you the difference if they don't.
Yeah, if they say no, walk outside, order it online, and tell them walk in and be like, I just ordered online and I want to take it home. But yeah, I would think they would. So just tell them you're watching the Chronicles live stream, and if you buy one of our rods while you're in there, and they still have a couple hats, get a free hat. So
there you go.
Or
that is also
if you
another
spend
promo.
$150 or more.
Or if you could get 2 hats. Who knows?
Oh,
there you
like
go.
$300. I'll make a new rule. Sure. Okay, still rolling through. Yeah, this is funny. You guys might be single. No way my wife lets me go on that many trips. 3 of us are not.
Yeah.
God, great people.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
Yeah. Pink's the only single one.
Yeah.
And he's the best cook. It makes no sense. Hit him up, ladies.
Yeah.
He's a steal. Our thoughts on using live scope in big groups of people. So like our whole game plan when we get to lakes is really teamwork. So I don't know what your definition of a big group is though. Like if you're talking 10 plus, you're on a, beer trip with everybody up to Red or something. That's a little different, but with the way we use it, it's a whole team way. We're constantly drilling, moving, checking, and we break down water fast. If everybody's using it, you're just going to push fish around.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if this question is specific to that or if it's like fishing around people, in which case I would say it's awesome.
Yes, because then you figure out that all the fish are sitting in between the permanent ice houses.
Yeah, or whatever. So that if that's the question, I would say yeah, it's awesome for that because you can see where they move to with the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is actually a great question. Just to clarify, so with the Mackies and like we use the whammies, the minnows, we say black and motor oil a lot. So the colors are fathead and motor oil. They're 2 different colors. Right. One's fathead's basically black. It's very dark, and motor oil is obviously dark watermelony greenish type.
Yeah, it's a translucent brown is what motor oil is. Literally think of motor oil, but just a slightly darker shade of brown. And that's what it is. It's translucent. You can see through it, but it's still got that dark bait profile to it.
Well, Logan wanted to ask, what's your recommendation for not frying drills? Fried 2 in a week. We've done that before too, but Waldo got any?
Yeah. Check your auger blades. You're likely frying drills because your blades are dull, so you're having to push harder, causing your drill to work more. That would be more than likely what it is your auger blades. That, or you might have an issue with your auger. You might have a defective casting. There could be something going on that's causing you to fry more drills. That would be my guess is first off, check the auger blades, get a fresh set. That would be the first thing that I would do.
Up North Bass, and you guys remember we met these guys at the ice show. Good guys,
Yes.
kids from the cities. What's up, boys? First ice fishing trip, and what is your favorite HM? Was that a typo, or am I missing some young people slang? I don't know. I'm worried.
I think we're getting too old and we're missing some slang here.
Dang it. I'm sorry, guys. First ice fishing trip for me, I believe it was probably a trip to it was probably to Bemidji to hop around up in northern Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably mine. They're rad. Was probably where my first was. I'm not a huge fan of the early ice red trip, but that was mine. Waldo, what was yours?
My first ice fishing trip. Oh, I don't even know if I remember like a first trip. I would guess like, I'd assume probably going up to like Leech Lake or Mille Lacs or something would have been one of my first trips. My favorite trip was at this point that I've done is Fort Peck, Montana. I've been like Idaho to Cascade Lake for perch, and that was amazing scenery. And that was by far my number one until I went to Fort Peck. And Fort Peck, the scenery is cool. It's just it's a lot of rolling hills, but you get some cool bluffs coming into lake. But with Fort Peck, lake trout are just insane out there. Like if I could fish for one species of fish the rest of my life and never fish for anything else ever again and only ever fish this fish, it would be a lake trout. I mean, it is ridiculous how fast they hit a bait, how hard they fight. I mean, they're just amazing. Like if we had a lake trout lake here in the metro area, I wouldn't fish for anything else.
It's like the ultimate video game fish too.
Oh,
like if you love using electronics, it's just insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And how hard they hit a bait. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I just want to go back there so bad.
If you guys want to see something here, we got hella bass swung by to an ice fishing stream.
Wow.
That is, yeah. That took a lot.
Wow, it is winter, huh?
Yeah, you're really bored. Nice to see you, Rich.
We all wish we could be slinging some of Pink's chicken jigs.
Yeah, I wish we could be chucking hair jigs for largies right now, but we're not.
Yeah. I'm even at the tying table right now. Unreal.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
How tall are the Clam Sub-Zero boots?
I would probably say about 13 inches, 12 inches. Nah, 13.
Upper calf level.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely upper calf level.
Yeah.
Buying time, trying to find new ones. Someone talk about something.
Well, that was not good if that's what you're trying to do. Whatever that was. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that anymore.
Here you go. What the great debate, what size crappie is ideal to harvest and maintain sustainability? Does it vary lake to lake?
Yes.
It definitely varies. Yeah.
Because like some lakes just have a giant year class of big ones, and on those lakes I just don't keep fish. I'll go to another lake to actually harvest fish. My ideal size is usually around 10.
Put it this way: if you catch one and you're like, "Dang, that's pretty big," probably let it go.
Yeah,
that's
like
if
that's the lake, you know, because like some people don't fish a lot of different lakes, you know. So if you know what like the average is, because you catch a lot more of those. So,
so this is funny since we brought it up. Brian says, so don't exchange my 12s that feel like 10s ice armor boots. I'm definitely worried.
Wear them.
Kick around for a couple hours. It'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wear them around for like 2 hours. You'll be fine. Do you like the catch and cook fish batter? What is the best flavor?
Yes, love the catch and cook fish batter. Probably actually it is my favorite, like one you can buy off the shelf right now. The flame one is my favorite one. Catch and cook flame. It's a little bit spicy, but not like crazy. But it's more it's spicier than you would typically probably think you would just buy a fish batter off the shelf. But both of them are pretty well. They have 3 right now. They have the beer batter one, the flame one, and then they have one called Crunchy, which is like the original. They're all really great. They're all very different also, so you kind of have to feel that out. But the flame would be my recommended number 1.
Waldo, have you ever used a silky, and if so, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've used the silky a couple times. I never really use it as just a standalone plastic. I always use it as like a accessory to the jig, or something to spruce up the jig a little bit. So I'll put it on first, and then I'll put like a Mackie behind it, and I'll use it like a jig skirt almost, and I'll trim it down, and it looks like gills, or it'll look like fins even if you trim it down. But I almost cut it down half on each side, and so it's not as free flowing, and it has a little bit more sturdiness to it. But I'll put it on the jig first, and then follow with a body style plastic. And we actually did that on a river backwaters episode.
I think it was the day we caught the first really big one.
Yeah, that
It was caught on a silky.
Yeah, that one I had a silky on, and then I had a Mackie. I think it was either a Mackie Jamie or a Mackie Minnow behind it. I think it was a Mackie Minnow behind it on a drop kick, and it was just, the whole presentation was just a white color, but it just adds more movement in dirty water so they can feel it better.
I had a son of a gun. Need to find it. Basin or shallow weeds, which one do you like to fish more? And if you're in the basin, do you like to find the openings in the ice houses?
Yeah, definitely. If you can get away, if you can get in the openings, that's a good spot to look for sure. Them fish get away from them pretty much all the time.
We did an episode last year on that. We literally went to the one spot in the basin where there weren't ice houses, and they were just loaded.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. This is just a really good one for Griff. So people are looking at your ice rod, Griff. Like, why would they get that to add it to their lineup? Like, when do you go to the Griff's Chronicle or a schoolie setup to start catching crappies?
I use it a lot of times if it's an ultra finesse, or you just need to control your bait, and like really, just really control what you're doing and have like the perfect rhythm to get these fish to bite. And if it's windy, a lot of times, because it's short, so your rod won't be waving around. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of times to use it, but it's more for the finesse, like, area of fishing. And then if it's windy, that's when I use it most of the time.
Yeah. And I think until you actually try it once, it's hard to really understand the benefit that it provides. Like you can say, oh yeah, you have better control or whatever, but when you actually compare it side by side with like a Bart's Chronicle rod, it's a spring bobber rod also, but you cannot do the same things with it that you can with a schoolie rod.
And I would add to that, like, I mean, everybody saw episode 6, and half of it I was holding the camera, and the other half I was pounding a pinhead way too hard trying to catch a crappie because everybody else was catching them, and I couldn't get one. So when we went out the next episode, look back at the game tape, and you're like, oh my God, I was just working a jig way too hard, which plenty of you chirped me on, so thank you. But taking Griff's rod and just going, okay, back to the basics, and like the way you can control that rod and just feel how you're working a jig, it is really impressive to like get back to the basics and be like, okay, this is how you work a jig. This is how slow you should work it. This is how you move it through the water column, because everybody's getting the longer and longer and longer rods. Having a rod that is 19 inches with a 2-inch spring bobber that you can do micro movements and be finesse with, there's just a huge benefit to it, especially in the metro when fish get really negative.
Yeah, it's beneficial to have at least one short rod like that in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Hey, we even got a comment on Griff's rod. It says, "Hey Griff, Hunter caught a 10-inch gill on your rod this past Sunday. The fish,
that's
really
awesome,
and the spring bobber really helped." So there you go, proof's in the pudding.
Nice.
Couple good ones here. Back kind of to the cooking side. So what's our favorite dishes so far? We can kind of round table this from everyone, because we've had some new ones. What has everyone's been so far? Griff, you want to go first?
Yeah, the chili killies was definitely my favorite so far.
Yeah.
Pizza.
The chili quiles was really good. I will say and it's really simple, honestly, but I'm going to say the pizza. I told Pink it took over the corn dogs when he made it, and he was really happy about that. So it was the pizza.
Yeah.
And what people need to understand about that pizza is it is so easy to make. Like, that's why so many people have been making it. It is super easy. The fish sausage is the hardest part, and it's wicked easy. So definitely
it takes all the guesswork out of like making a crust and all that too. So
Waldo.
Oh, pizza. No, I agreed with you right away.
Pizza.
Oh, okay. So you want pizza? Okay, cool. So new ones this year. I like it. Pink, what's your favorite one you made?
Of the ones we've shown already, definitely the chili quiles is my favorite this season. Yeah.
I will say there's one in the coming videos. I don't know when it'll be, but there's one coming up that was up there where we use coffee, and that was awesome.
I think that was a crowd favorite that day.
It was. It was very good.
Except for Waldron, he was sleeping.
Yeah. I had to get him napping.
Jay, so Schoolie real tips and tricks. Basically the whole next video is going to be a Schoolie video. So like you'll see us talking about it and showing it a lot.
Yeah. It's cool. It's fun. It's a nice little reel too. And Bart, you were even talking about like we were using it a lot in this last trip and like how easy it is to pull the line out and everything.
I'm sorry. I just started laughing at this comment.
Oh, I wasn't talking to you at all.
I know. What was your question? You're going to laugh when I bring up this comment though, but yeah.
I was just saying about the Schoolie that we talked about how it was like super easy to pull the line out and everything. Like,
yeah, it's very fun to fish.
Yeah.
Like it's very fun to fish with. No, but this comment, putting together the Mega Live bundle was brutal. I mean, newer setup. Yeah. So
wait till you build the 360, bro.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, Pink was sending me like 4 hours of Snapchats trying to make the 360.
That's brutal.
Did you find anything that could help you build it? Got any tips or tricks for School Patrol?
I found the most.
You're gonna want to start with a couple beers. Start there.
Yeah, break out or break your PB. That'll be the first step. Second step is put it back in the box and try to find someone to do it.
If you're gonna buy one of those, ask if they have one that's already put together or a demo. Start there.
Yeah. See if you can pay like an extra $200 for a PB one.
Once they're put together, the case and everything is super slick, but it looks terrible to put together.
It was brutal.
It's not fun.
I ended up, I will say, after I put that whole thing together, I don't even know how this is possible. I had one nut left.
Yeah, I remember that Snapchat too.
Which just like there wasn't even a bolt to put it on. Yeah. So I don't know if I don't know.
That was very funny. Eddie wants to know, have you cooked the Thule yet? Or how are you going to cook it?
I haven't cooked it yet. I have 2 of them. And,
yeah, we did catch another one. So
so I have 2 that are 2.5, 3 pound Thules that are sitting in the currently sitting in the freezer that I think one of them is destined for the smoker. The other one I think I'm going to do something a little bit different with. So
what, pike bait?
No.
He's not wasting that beautiful meat.
Totally thought about it though.
Pink, just touch on this quick. May have missed it earlier for people who maybe weren't here who have questions about the cookbook.
Yes. Cookbook is in the works right now. Hoping to have it finalized in the next week or so. Hoping to have it available within the next 2 weeks. So, as soon as we do, we'll blast it everywhere, and you'll know where to get it. The goal right now is that it'll be available on Amazon to buy. Should be under $30.
So here's the deal. Anybody watching this right now, I want you to screen record this and clip this on your phone, and you post it on social media. We're officially calling out Team Sobe for the Clam Trap Attack tournament. We will spot them an inch of fish.
Done.
An inch of fish.
And they'll still lose by 10.
And they're still going to lose. So we will do that. We will be fishing in it. That is going to be, I need to look at the dates real quick, but
It's
that
the 21st and 22nd. Lock it in.
It's the 21st and 22nd. It's a $10 entry. Fish anywhere in the country. Or
it doesn't even
Canada
have to be in
tournament.
this country.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to
anywhere
be in this
with
country. Ice. You can win thousands of dollars of clam prizes. You can fish against us. We'll be in the crappie division, obviously. But if we catch a couple random other species, we will be registering them.
Yeah, if you'd like to fish for second in the crappie division, you know, have at her.
I took third last year, and Griff didn't even fish, so you guys are screwed.
I couldn't figure out how to enter a dang fish.
Waldo couldn't figure out how to edit a fish. He edited half of them wrong. I got third.
Well, that's okay. I think Sam entered all of them wrong.
Didn't even get out there until halfway through day 2, and we
still
were up there. So, anyways, everybody call out Team Sobe, and you can tell all of them we will spot them an inch of fish. And we are going to
not
still
even
crush
worried.
Them. We'll do a side pot. Yeah.
So
I will.
Are we going 1 through 4?
Yeah, we'll go 1 through 4. I don't. Yeah, it'll be fine. Sobe,
right.
I will straight up say this now. I'll do a grand side pot with you.
Count it.
And we will do that.
He stopped into Vex the other day, and he was already talking some mad heat.
Well, I'm gonna clip this and I'm gonna put it out to him. So
I'll throw shade right now.
Yeah,
and he was
don't hurt my feelings.
He had the audacity to downplay crappies, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna be like looking for that this year. I'm going for bluegill and perch." I'm like, "You just scared you're gonna lose again."
That's because he's gonna get crushed.
I know.
Like we smoked him last year. He was out at midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so that was your smack talking Sobe. You guys can all blow him up and tell him we'd spot him an inch of fish, and I will bet him a grand on the side that we'll crush him. So he can grab whoever he wants. I don't care.
You can grab Weeb.
Not worried.
Get the Summit telescopic pole. Have you used that, Waldo?
Yeah.
Oh, the Summit thing.
Yeah. I've used it. It's actually pretty solid. It's good, but we're just using the regular Humminbird one this year. I will say the Humminbird one is absolutely that deucer pole and the carrying case to the Humminbird unit are bulletproof tanks. Like you can't. The deucer pole is literally a trolling motor shaft that they have cut in segments. I mean, it is bulletproof. It doesn't bend. It is absolutely great. So
he's just telling us that we shouldn't even use the pole. He's saying just get the Summit thing.
Yeah, which is their pole. Yeah. So I mean, it's just to each their own. The telescopic pole is super nice, though. I have a bunch of buddies.
We convinced Matt to buy Griff's rod. So ta-da! But he needs to get a schoolie. Doesn't see it on Thorne Brothers. What brand? It's just schoolie, right? They have
them. They have them
at the show.
They're like $4?
$4.
Yeah. If you're looking at the $4.99 reel, it is the right reel. Like you're not being fooled. And also modify it by cutting the guide off the front of it. So like it's gonna get even cheaper.
Yeah, and the schoolie reel is made by DEMA, Edema Schoolie Reel is what it's called. If you can't find them on Thorne or they don't have them in stock for whatever reason. But they should definitely have them there.
So back to the assembly thing. He thought he could get it put together after a work Christmas party at 11:30 before Lake Winnipeg the next day.
Yeah, I put it together. I put it together the night before we left for bowstring. So
Chandler, if you want to see where the auger drilled through, you just kind of got to pan it a hair up when you're looking at your buddy, and you got to make sure it's pointing at it. That's like the other thing. It's only going to show it if you're pointing at where he drilled the hole.
Yeah, make sure your image isn't flipped. I've had a lot of people where I've looked at their setup and their image was flipped on the screen, and on Garmin's you can actually go in and change the orientation of the screen so that it doesn't show you backwards. Otherwise, with the live scope, it can literally show you backwards on it and you don't even notice.
And make sure you check the angle of the deucer too, because it has a few like spots where it locks in. And if you're not in the correct one, you probably won't be able to see it properly.
Yep.
Because you normally don't have to tip it up to see the auger. You might have to go like side to side a little bit if you're not right on the money, but you'll see the plume shoot down from the water movement.
Yep.
Pinhead Pro is a hot lure. What's everyone's favorite color? We talked about, we just use the regular Pro. We don't use the jointed. But what's everyone's favorite color?
Oh, the new hot pink one. The straight hot pink one is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I did some damage on the like gold. I guess it was like kind of their perch color. It's like it's gold with a orange and like a green back on it.
Yeah, mine's the pink with the white dots on it.
And I will say the white Wonder Bread.
Yeah, that one's really good too.
Yes, that is a good one.
So then G-Man's asking I'm guessing like what's with the Vexilar since we use the live. That's the best thing to catch them with in a hole. It's immediate feedback. It's
That's target separation.
Yeah, it's just a straight down flasher setup.
Yep. You don't spook the fish because they don't feel the power or the frequency in their lateral line because you can reduce the power level. That and it's already a very low power outputting unit. A lot of these other units are outputting, thousands of watts of power. They're outputting frequencies into the megahertz range, which even have labels on them for cancer warnings for soft tissue damage. Fish can feel that. That is a lot of power and frequency hitting their lateral line. And they have learned not to like it. So that's where fishing with a flasher is so absolutely important. Plus, no one likes to hole hop with a live imaging unit. No. It is a pain. It is cumbersome. It's bulky. It's a lot going on. And to be honest, fishing by yourself with a live imaging unit also isn't that much fun. So it's a great teammate unit where you have one person quarterbacking, the other person drilling, catching the fish, and then you switch. Yeah. So the live with the Vexilar combo is by far the best 1-2 punch. That's why we call it search and destroy. You find them with the live imaging and then you destroy them with the Vex.
Especially if you get over top of them, where if they sunk down to the bottom, a lot of times they disappear on live, and you can sit over them with a Vex and plug the deucer into the water, and you can already see, like, you can see the bottom clearly, you can see the fish, you can see what size the fish are. So like if you're sitting on top of a school, you can be like, okay, there's a big one right in he's a third fish down. Like I can drop to the one I want to catch very easily.
Bow Hunter just said we don't want the smokes. Steph the Great will carry Sobe. Yeah, but she can't carry him that much.
I hope Steph's working that day.
Yeah, I hope Steph is working that day. But yeah, we'll take all.
I have nothing bad to say to Steph.
Yeah, no, Steph, you're great. No, we love Steph. We love Steph. No, Sobe's cheating if he uses her fish. Yeah, he knows it. Anyway. Justin, what's the biggest surprise you've pulled up fishing for crappies? Next episode.
And it was a big surprise, eh?
It was a giant surprise.
Yeah.
I wonder who caught it.
We should have capped it. God.
Jerry, Cookbook's gonna kill it. We agree. I think a lot of people are gonna want it, so make sure you get it right away.
Yeah, I hope you guys are hungry for it because it's coming.
All right, so I think we'll do probably like 9 more minutes. So if you guys got more questions, throw them in. We're gonna kind of start wrapping this up, and we'll get more. I like this. Tanner said he screen recorded our call out. So yeah, go spam Sobe with that. If you post it on Insta, I will share it and tag him and everything. All of us will. So yeah, we're calling out Sobe. Griff, this is a good one for you. So Jim Grana, I wanted to know this. Big fan of ours. He's actually from down south. I think he does a little bit of ice fishing, but mainly he's fishing ponds for crappies and bluegills. Do you find that moon phases affect the bite good or bad?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, it seems like, I don't know, it seems like certain areas it'll have an effect, but like, I don't know, if you're in just like basin bites and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to, I don't know. I just don't see a lot of difference with crappies. I see it more with other fish like muskies and walleyes, but I think it has a limited effect on them, but it's not something where you're like, oh, they're all eating at night because of the moon. Like, I just don't see that, especially in the metro. Like, there's so many fish that are eating all throughout the day that I just don't see it.
I think like, time of day just plays a much bigger factor.
Right. I just don't see it affecting They went from a day to biting at night because the moon's out at night. Like, I don't see that. They still bite during the day.
Lawrence also said, so if you guys are looking to buy Griff's rod and you're having trouble maybe finding a schoolie at Thorne, which I believe they have them, but they could be sold out. I didn't check beforehand. There are some at Runnings in Monticello too. So
Perfect.
That's another place you can look. Looking for more. Sold on the website. So the Thorne site, it has literally all the ice fishing tackle you guys could imagine. Like 10% off literally almost everything in their store. Do we expect live units becoming smaller or less expensive in the future? No. Probably just more expensive.
They will come down.
Well,
they're going to have to.
Players
it's like when Lowrance had the very first LSS1, LSS2 side imaging structure scan units. Mm-hmm. They were retailing for about $2,500 to $3,000, and now you can get a side imaging unit for $700. So,
well, this technology has only been like available for a handful of years so far. Like it's so fresh, you know.
What has it been, like 5 years, 6 years?
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
It hasn't been long.
Kip's got another good one. What's the weirdest or most unique crappie bite you've run into? Weird depth or spot or something like that?
The river.
The river in general.
1 foot of water. Like even a situation. Typically in the river where you find that ultra shallow, the ice doesn't get very thick because it's spring fed. So the ice will only be like 2.5 inches, and you're only on a foot of water. So you got about 10 inches of water underneath your feet, and you're jigging right in the hole, and the fish come up to the hole and they roll sideways up into it to eat your jig. That's probably the craziest thing you'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's wild to watch because you're watching them. See your jig. It doesn't even seem like this should work, and all of a sudden, boop, there they are.
I think this one is kind of underrated, but just like I think we take it for granted. But like when you're out in a basin and it's just you catch all of them out of one hole, and you don't get why, and they move crazy. A lot, and then you just keep catching them out of one hole, and you're like, I don't know.
Especially when there's someone in a hole 2 feet next to you, not catching.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, you're like, I don't know. I don't have a good reason. Schoolie reels, very popular in Europe. They change line sizes for each fish species caught. What's our go-to line size, weight, or diameter?
Those are a lot of those guys are using palm reels, which are a little bit different than schoolies.
They're using like half-pound line.
Yeah, they use anything from like 0.5 to 1.5, and a lot of times they measure in kilograms as well over there. We just use clam sunline. We use 2, 3, and 4 pound tests primarily, and we switch between fluorocarbon and monofilament for various reasons and presentations, but we don't really pay too much attention to line diameter. A lot of that stuff is more in Europe where you see that.
But day in and day out, we probably use 3 the most, 3 pound.
Yep.
So we'll kind of go round table here. Like if someone was going to go to the website and buy some stuff from Thorne tonight with the sale to get ready for ice fishing, some things they could grab that would be beneficial. Obviously, like grab one of our rods, but things we get asked about a ton that you can grab there. Clam Elite Spooler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That reel.
That's our favorite ice reel.
That's the spooler reel we're using. That isn't a schoolie. The one that goes zip, zip, zip when we pull it out, that's a Clam Elite spooler. So that would be one I would say that you guys should look at.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. I would probably have to say if you can find Mackie in motor oil on their website, definitely pick some of those up. But
Steals my answer.
Griff's just gonna say get 2 bags.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Pink, you got something?
I don't know if I have something specific. I'm going on their website right now. I'm doing this live.
Okay, there we go.
Real time. I'll find something for you.
And then another one people have been asking, the black gloves we wear or the Blackfish Arid gloves. I think Thorne Brothers has those too.
Yeah, they do.
and GRIFF pinheads, right? If they have any left.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Pink is going to keep looking through the website, so we'll see if he finds anything unique.
If they have a Renegade neck gator, buy that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see if it's on the website. That's what I was trying to find. But
those things are money.
Yeah, if they have that, buy one. Or get another one if you already have one, because you're going to lose it anyway.
John, the Blackfish collab pullover, I kind of said this earlier. If you guys want to see this, comment this a ton on the next few videos, and we'll maybe do a pre-order or something. I only had a few of them made. We're going to give some away, or give one away later this week. But, yeah, if you guys want to see it, we'll do it. But I need to know, like, ASAP. So comment on all the coming up videos and let us know. Looking for one or two more. G-Man wants to know if you can spy on other anglers with live scope. He asked this like 7 times. So,
I mean, if they're underwater,
them off and just point it at them and keep it pointed at them and watch the fish move away.
Yeah, you can mess with them.
Oh yeah. Throw a bunch of interference on their graph. Works great.
Secretly, that's what we do to Bart, but I guess not secretly anymore.
He still hasn't figured it out.
Yeah, that's why I haven't caught anything. They just keep scaring my fish away with live. The elite spooler would not work well for a walleye setup. If you want to get a reel,
what are you talking about, boy?
Elite spooler?
Oh yeah,
with
it.
Really? I would never use that, but I guess you could.
It depends. I think it just depends angler to angler, right?
Yeah,
walleyes, it works amazing with like 4 and 5 pound test fluoro for like a finesse walleye setup. It's awesome. I would not use it if I was going for like Lake Winnipeg walleye or like stuff like that.
Well, here's the deal: the drag isn't great.
No,
you know, so like if you're gonna lean on the drag a lot, a spinning reel is night and day better than a spooler. I mean, the drag is okay for small runs, but if you have to actually tighten it down, you're gonna have issues.
Yeah. If you're going for giant walleyes, definitely go with a spinning reel. Otherwise, like if you're going to like Red Lake or fishing around the metro for like eater fish, or just not fishing necessarily for giants or on a lake that has giants, that reel is a great shell water walleye reel.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing is for bigger fish, because the way the drag works, the whole spool has to spin around. So if you hit the handle, you're going to break them off.
Yeah.
You know, if a fish is taking a run, like in that episode where I blew up that rod fighting that pike, like you can see the runs and the reel is just whipping around. So if you're going to be dealing with that, I would not recommend it specifically. But once you get used to it, it's not bad.
I was just going to recommend a Shimano Sienna instead.
Yeah.
Like it's a great all-around ice reel.
Yeah.
And you can get those from Thorne Brothers too for 10% off if you use our code right now. That's a great ice fishing reel. But yeah, Jim, we'll probably use this as our last question, and then we'll kind of all say bye for the night. But what depth do you stop keeping fish, or start keeping fish due to barotrauma? We don't really target fish that we're not going to keep over 25 feet. I would say like 25 feet would definitely be the deepest about.
And even
over 25 feet, you're going to want to keep them all
way high.
Yeah, if they're, and that's the thing too. You got to like what depth they are. Like when we're on, like when we've been on bodies of water before. Yeah, we're catching them in 35 feet, but they're suspended 15 feet down. Like they're fine then. But if they're riding on the bottom in 27 feet, you know, probably should just keep those fish. They're probably not going to survive.
And the unfortunate thing is that even if it's a big one, if you let it go, it's probably going to die.
All the blood vessels burst in their head.
Yeah,
and it's not good.
Yeah, and I'm always of the opinion that like if you know a fish is gonna die, like say you catch one and it's got its stomach poking out into its mouth or whatever, it's not gonna survive. So even at 14, you're better off making use of that fish, take it home, fillet it, and at least get some meals out of it versus just chucking it back and it's gonna float up under the ice and die anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you're better off doing the ethical thing and keeping the fish if it is caught that deep.
All right. This will be our last question. Then we're going to peace out for the night. So thank you for everybody tuning in. Pink, Nick Lindner wants to know what's the best sushi joint in the MSP area?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It depends if you're just wanting to smash like a lot of sushi or
Ooh,
just get really quality sushi.
Oh, if he wants to smash, Pink's got the place.
Yeah, I'm a big Kyoto fan. I
Yeah.
do that place dirty, but if you're just trying to like, if you just want a really good experience, it's a little bit of a drive, but Bobby Sushi, pretty fire.
Yeah.
So look that one up if you haven't been there.
Sushi Fix, if you want like real high dollar sushi, that's another good one.
That's literally what just got commented.
Oh yeah.
Popped it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one too.
Okay, so that's a good one. But thank you everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all your support. Like I said before, if you guys want to see this keep rolling and everything, we appreciate all the messages, texts, calls, everything. But like, please comment all over the videos. It helps so much. So do the likes. Like, just really, really, really pump it there. We appreciate it a ton. You guys are the best. You're here all the time. Thorne Brothers code will be working for 24 more hours, so get yourself some tackle. But for now, we're going to peace out, and you guys will have an episode probably in about a week. And also at that point in time, we're going to be in a way different part of this country. So we got some cool stuff coming. We'll be recording a new episode of Past the BARB while we're out there, actually probably 2 of them. So you'll kind of get some insight into whatever might be going on. So other than that, thanks everyone for tuning in. Anyone want to say anything else?
I'm good.
Bye.
All right. Perfect. All right. Good night, everybody. We appreciate you. We will see you later.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.